Hello students, how are you all? I hope all of you are doing amazing. So welcome all of you at AriserTalent. And in our last lecture, we have a discussion about few of the questions that is related to our NCERT, that is from our chapter metals and non-metals. Now today, we are going to deal with some of the important competitive question that is related to your NTSE, STSE and other Olympiad exams. Clear? So we are dealing with metals and non-metals, and the first question in this sequence is, which metal cannot displace hydrogen from the dilute acids? So this is the question which is related to the chemical reactions or the chemical properties of the metal. So we have seen that there are some metal which is not able to displace hydrogen from the salt solution, and there is only one metal which is not showing the reactivity with any of the acids, and it is all about the copper. Copper is not going to react with either dilute HCl or dilute H2SO4. So let's check the options here. A is copper. Magnesium, zinc and sodium, they will react with HCl and form the corresponding salt and displace hydrogen from the salt solution. But in case of the copper, you will not get any of the reaction here. So you can see that our option number A is correct. Clear? Now, let's move forward to the next question. Which alloy of aluminium is used for making aircraft? So this is the thing we have discussed in the alloys, and there is only one metal which is used, there is only one alloy which is used for making the aeroplane body part, as it is very light in weight, and that is only dura-alumin. So the options are Alnico, Y-alloy, dura-alumin or aluminium bronze. So we can say that dura-alumin is the correct option. So in this case, option number C is correct. Now, let's move forward to the question number 3. Iron ore is a. So which is the iron ore among this? Bauxite, dolomite, hematite and calamine. So among these, the ore of iron is hematite, from which the iron is extracted. So the correct option here is option number C. So you can see that how easy these questions are, but majorly the questions in the exams are asked related to the topic that is about the reactivity series. So reactivity series is very important and chemical reactions are very important. Clear? Now move forward to the next question, that is question number 4. Which of the following is relatively a very light metal? So if you do the comparison of these metals among lead, tin, aluminium and mercury, you can say that aluminium is a very light metal, and this is the reason why we are making the body parts of the aeroplane from aluminium only. Okay, and you have seen that the sheets we are making from aluminium, the aluminium is used for making the thin foils that is used for the wrapping of the food items. So aluminium is actually a very light metal. So you can find here that option number C will be correct. Option C is correct here. Okay. Now, let's move forward to the question number 5. Is the electronic configuration for sulfur? Now, for this you have to learn the atomic numbers from 1 to 30, and you know that the atomic number for the sulfur is 16 only. So, atomic number is 16. Atomic number is 16. If the atomic number is 16, you can get the electronic configuration 2, 8, 6. Because the K shell will have a 2 electrons, L shell can accommodate maximum of 8 electrons and rest of the electrons will be in the M shell. So it will be K shell, L shell and M shell. So the electronic configuration will be 2, 8, 6. So let's check the options here. 2, 6, 8, 2, 4, 8, 2, 8, 6 and 2, 6, 4. So that you can see that option A and C are given to confuse you, but don't get confused here, because L shell can accommodate maximum of 8 electrons. So firstly we will fill 8 electrons instead of 6 electrons here. So you can find here that option number C is going to be correct. So the correct option here will be option number C. So this is the configuration for sulfur you have. Now Let's move forward to question number 6. Composition of nichrome alloy is. So you have to identify the composition of the nichrome alloy in this case. So I have told you previously that there are some alloys that you have to learn because their composition is very necessary to learn here. So in this question you have to identify the composition of nichrome alloy. So nichrome is basically an alloy of iron, nickel and chromium. So these things you have to remember yourself. So you can find here that iron, nickel, chromium is in option number 2nd. So we can say that option number B is correct in this case. Option number B. Okay. Now let's move forward to the question number 7th. In the following equation, x tends 4. So this is the equation you have to balance here. So firstly, for balancing the equation, I am writing the left hand side here and I am writing the right hand side here. So first one is aluminium, hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen. Now you can see that how many aluminiums are there? There are 2 aluminiums in the left hand side. And how many aluminiums are the right hand side? In the right hand side you have 2 aluminiums. Now let's calculate the sulfur. The sulfur is not identified here because X is given here. So sulfur here is X and here you can see that sulfur are 2, S and 2. So it is 2 here. Oxygen in this case is a X multiplied by 4. So I can write here it is 4X. And oxygen in this case is 4 into 2. You can get 8 here. Okay. Now let's talk about the hydrogen. Hydrogen will be 2 into X because X is in the subscript here. So it will be 2X. Now here in the right hand side you can see that the hydrogen is 3 into 2, that is equal to 6. So that this is the LHS side and this is the RHS side. So what you have to do? Firstly, you have to make 6 hydrogen in that side. So if you want 6 hydrogen in that side, what is the value of X here? The X must be 3 here. Okay. Now let us do the comparison of the oxygen. Oxygen here is 4 into 2, but you can see that now the oxygen will be in 3 into 4, 12. So what you can substitute to make it completely balanced equation? If I am substituting 2 here, I will get the 4 hydrogen in this case and here we have the 6. So for correct comparison, you can say that the value of X you can substitute here will be 3. So X will be 3. Clear? So the correct option we can find here is option number B. So this is the correct answer here. Now, next question will be, now this is our 7th question and in the following equation X tends 4. So you have to find the coefficient X here. So this question is based on the balancing of the chemical equation. So for the balancing, firstly I am writing the LHS here and here I am writing the RHS and here we have the name of elements. So the elements are aluminium, hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen. So elements are aluminium, hydrogen, sulfur and oxygen. Clear? So aluminium here is 2. You can see aluminium are 2. Here the aluminium is also 2. Hydrogen is 2 into X. And here the hydrogen is 3 into 2, 6. Sulfur is X. And here the sulfur is 3. Here oxygen is 12. And there oxygen is 4 into X. Clear? So you have to find the value of X. So for balancing any chemical equation, the LHS and RHS must be same. So if you are going to equate LHS and RHS from here, what you will get? you will get 2x equal to 6, x will be equal to 6 by 2 and 6 by 2 will give you the answer 3 in this case. So, value of x will be 3. So, if I am putting the coefficient 3 here, let's check. 3 into 2, 6, 3 into 4, oxygen 12 and sulfur are 3. So, you can see that the complete balanced equation is provided here. So, the value of x will be 3 in this case. So, our option number B will be correct. So, you can see that how simple this question is. So, balancing is also a part of this chapter. So, go through the lectures of balancing very clearly. Now, let's move forward to the next question. Arrange the following metals in the order of their decreasing reactivity. Decreasing reactivity means the metal which is very reactive will be placed in the front side. It means in the forwarded side. And lastly, the metal which is having a very less reactivity will be substituted in the last. So, you have to do the comparison among these metals. So, firstly, I am writing these metals. Fe, Cu, Mg, Ca, Zn and Ag. So, you can see these are the metals among which you have to do the comparison. So, if I am going to compare these metals, you know that the copper and silver are the less reactive metal because they are going to lie in the bottom part of the reactivity series. So, most, or you can say that the least reactive metal will be the silver. So, silver is substituted in the last. Silver. Then after silver, you have the copper. So, copper is also less reactive. These are the less reactive metals. Now, this part has been done and this element has been done. Now, you are left with magnesium, calcium, zinc and iron. So, if I am going to compare these metals, the most reactive metal is calcium here. So, calcium you have to substitute it here. After calcium, you have magnesium. So, calcium is done, magnesium is done. Now, you are left with only iron and zinc. So, can you tell me among iron and zinc which is the less reactive metal and which is the highly reactive metal? So, if you do the comparison of iron and zinc, you can find that zinc is more reactive as compared to the iron. Zinc is more reactive as compared to the iron. So, I have to substitute zinc here and Fe here. So, this is the reactivity series I am obtaining here. So, I have told you, you have to remember the reactivity series for doing such type of the question. So, the first element is calcium, magnesium, zinc, iron, copper and silver. So, let's check the options here. Calcium, zinc, magnesium, this is absolutely wrong. Calcium, zinc, copper, again this statement is wrong. Calcium, magnesium, zinc, iron, copper and Ag. And calcium, magnesium, Fe, Zn, Cu and Az, as I have told you that the zinc is more reactive. So, you have the correct option, that is option number C. So, I can found here that our option number C is correct here. So, this is the question which is based upon the reactivity series. Now, moving forward to the question number 9th. Which is the symbol for tungsten? So, symbols of an element are different from their name. In some cases, you have the different symbol. Suppose if I am talking about the gold, the name for the gold is Aurum and its symbol is not G, its symbol is Au. So, similarly in the case of tungsten, you have a symbol that is W. You have to remind that this tungsten is having a symbol W. So, you can see that option number C is correct. Clear? Now, let's see what the 10th question is saying. On addition of which metal the blue color of the copper sulfate solution turns into the colorless solution? So you are provided with the 4 options, but one thing you have to kept in your mind that zinc is more reactive as compared to iron. So as soon as zinc is more reactive as compared to copper, so when zinc is going to react with copper sulfate solution, you will get the zinc sulfate, which is going to be colorless, and you will get the copper as a byproduct. So you can see that on addition of zinc, the copper sulfate solution turns into the colorless one, because the blue color of the copper has been disappeared from the reaction. So I can say that my option number C is going to be correct. Clear? So this is our option number C. Now let's move forward to the question number 11th. When a clear aluminium article is made the anode and is electrolyte with the dilute sulfuric acid to make a thick protective and attractive oxide layer, then the process is called. So whenever you are going to react the aluminium article and you want to form the layer of aluminium oxide there, so this process is basically known as anodizing, and we have discussed this part in our metallurgical process. So this process is called galvanization, anodizing, leaching, or thermite process. So you can say that the correct option is anodizing. You will do the anodizing as you are making the aluminium article as an anode. So this process is anodizing, and this option is B here. So our option number B is correct in this case. Now let's move forward to the question number 12. White metal CO2 in the laboratory on which the following substance, the hydrochloric acid, is poured. So you have to identify among the list of elements that in which thing you have to pour the hydrochloric acid. So the options are pieces of zinc. It is not possible. Whenever you place the hydrochloric acid on the pieces of zinc, it is going to react with it. So we will not pour on the pieces of zinc. The particles of copper and sulfur. Copper sulfur particles is also going to react with HCl, so we cannot pour it here. Pieces of marble. This is possible. If you pour the HCl in the pieces of the marble, no reaction is going to take place here. So our option number C is correct, and you can check the option number D also, ammonium chloride. Ammonium chloride is not suitable with HCl to be poured because they both will make a different kind of the solution. So you can see that pieces of marble is the correct answer. And that metal CO2 in the white metal CO2 in the laboratory, this is the only thing that is white marble. You can pour the HCl here. Clear? Now let's move forward to the question number 13th. Which metal does not react with oxygen at high temperature? So the options are magnesium, aluminium, silver, and zinc. So at a very high temperature, silver is not going to react with oxygen at a very high temperature. So the correct option here is silver. So our option number C is correct. So in this case, you have option number C correct. Clear? Now let's move forward to the question number 14th. Which chemical is formed when the non-metallic oxides react with water? So you are provided with non-metallic oxide. So you know that metal is going to form the which oxides? Metal is going to form the basic oxides, and non-metal is going to form the acidic oxides. So this is just the opposite case you can see. So whenever a chemical is formed, the non-metallic oxides, when going to react with water, they will form the acids. So you will get the acids in this case. So the correct option is acid here. So I can say that option number D is correct here. Okay. So in case of non-metallic oxides, when react with water, you will get definitely you will get the acids. Now question number 15. What is the molecular formula for silver glands? Now for this you have to know that silver glance is actually the silver sulfide. It is a sulfur form that is known as the glance, and if the word glance is used after any metal, you have to know that this is a compound of sulfur only. So what is the formula for silver glance? Silver is Ag and glance is sulfur. So I can found that among all these options, this is the correct option here, that is silver glance. So I can say that option number A is correct in this case. Okay, so you have to learn the formulas for answering such type of the questions here. Now let's continue with the 16th question. Until now we have done the 15th question. So the 16th question is, how many elements are there in a liquid non-metal at room temperature? So in metal and non-metal you have seen that there is only one non-metal which is liquid at room temperature. So there is only one non-metal which is liquid at room temperature, and the name of the non-metal is bromine. So bromine is only the liquid non-metal which is at non-metal at room temperature. So the correct option here will be option number B. Now let's move forward to the question number 17th. A metal is X is placed below aluminium and above lead. Okay, so this is aluminium and this is lead. The metal X is placed below aluminium and above lead. So this is X is a metal. When you done the extraction of this metal by carbon with its oxide, metal oxide is used to join the cracks of the machine parts and rail lines. By reacting it with aluminium, the metal is to be. So if I am comparing these metals, the copper is nothing to do with it. You do not use the copper here. Clear? Why? Because copper is in the bottom part of the reactivity series. If I am comparing magnesium, the magnesium, sodium, calcium, these lie in the upper part of the reactivity series. So magnesium can't be the option. Now if I am do the comparison of Fe and zinc, then only iron is a metal which is used to join the cracks of the machine parts. So whenever iron is combined with any form of the carbon oxide, it will form the iron oxide here, and you can see that this metal is lying in this part also. Clear? So which is the metal which is the metal X that we have to use? We will use the metal X, and it is nothing but iron. So our option number C is correct, that is Fe. Clear? So this is, you can see that the conceptual question that is asked in your competitive exam. Now let's move forward to the next question. Which of the following elements forms the acidic oxide? So you know that the acidic oxide will be formed only by the non-metals. So if there is a non-metal, the non-metal is going to form the acidic oxide. Clear? Now, element with atomic number 11. What is the element with atomic number 11? The element with atomic number 11 is sodium. Element with atomic number 3. Atomic number 3 is hydrogen, helium, lithium. So it will be Li. Element with atomic number 15. It is phosphorus. Element with atomic number 19. It is potassium. So the non-metal is going to form the acidic oxide, and you can see that all of these are actually the non-metals you have. Now what you will do, you can see that if you are going to react this with oxygen, the acidic oxide is formed by, if I am talking about the sodium and lithium, these are actually the metals you have. Sodium is a metal, so metal is not going to form the acidic oxide. If I am doing the comparison of potassium and phosphorus, the phosphorus is going to form the phosphorus oxide, that is either it will form P2O3 or it will form P2O5, and this will be acidic in nature. Phosphorus when combines with oxygen, it will form acidic oxide, whether it is P2O3 or it is P2O5. These are both the oxides of phosphorus. So you can find here the option number C is correct in this case. So I can say option number C is correct. Clear? So you have to know that the non-metal is going to form the acidic oxide and metal is going to form the basic oxides here. Clear? Now, move forward to the next question. The question is, nature of oxides of non-metal is. So, how the nature of the oxides of the non-metal can be predicted? I have told you that the non-metal is going to form the acidic oxide and metal is going to form the basic oxides. So, the non-metal oxides will be acidic in nature. So, I can say that option number A is correct. So, which option is correct here? Option number A. Now, moving to the next question, the question number 20 is, stainless steel is an alloy in which the following compound is added along with the iron. So, you know that whenever we have discussed about the alloys, we have discussed a lot of alloys and their composition. So, stainless steel is actually a mixture of iron with chromium. Whenever you mix Fe with Cr, you will get the stainless steel. You will get the stainless steel. So, which option is correct here? You can see that the option number B, chromium, is going to be correct in this case. So, I must say that option number B is correct here. Okay. Now, let's move forward to the next question. Most reactive metal is. Again, the question is based on the reactivity series, and among the following metal, if I arrange them in the reactivity series. So, according to reactivity series, the topmost element on the reactivity series is sodium. After that, magnesium. If I am talking about the gold and copper, they will lie in the bottom part of the reactivity series because they do not going to react here. So, these elements are above hydrogen. So, you can see that they are more reactive and they are less reactive. So, I can write here these are the more reactive metals or more reactive elements, and these are less reactive. So, you can see that sodium is lying on the top. Okay. So, which option is correct here? You can find that option number A will be the correct option in this case. So, I must say that option number A is going to be correct in this case. So, the most reactive metal is sodium only. Now, moving forward to the next question. So, which among the following non-metal is a liquid at room temperature? So, how many times this question has been asked? I know that you know the answer definitely regarding this question. So, the only non-metal which is liquid at room temperature is bromine. So, the option is bromine. If the question is asked that which is a liquid metal, so in case of the metal you have to put the option mercury here. Clear? So, the option number B is correct in this case. Now, moving forward to the next question. Which metal forms hydrogen gas when react with cold water? So, you have to identify that which among the following metal is going to react with cold water. So, in the chapter, we have a discussion about the reaction with cold water. We have discussed the reactions with boiled water, and also we have done the reactions with the steam. So we have found that magnesium is the only metal, whenever it is going to react with water, it will form the hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide. So the only metal which is going to react with cold water is magnesium here. So you can see that option number B is correct in this case. Option number B is correct here. Now, let's move forward to the question number 24th. Nature of aluminium oxide is, again a very interesting question you have. In the chapter, we have a discussion about the amphoteric oxides. Now, what are amphoteric oxides? Amphoteric oxides are those oxides which is having both acidic and basic nature. So, aluminium oxide Al2O3 is the compound, or you can say that it is a metal combination of two metals that is having a amphoteric nature. So, aluminium oxide is going to behave like an acid and it is also going to behave like a base, and it is the protective layer which is formed on many of the metals. So, you can say that nature of Al2O3 will be amphoteric in nature. It is going to react like an acid as well as it is going to react like a base. So, you can see that option number C is correct. So, this is question number 24. Let's move forward to the question number 25th. Stainless steel contains. Now, again the alloy is given and you have to identify the composition here. Stainless steel is actually an alloy of Fe, nickel and chromium, Fe, nickel and tin, Fe, carbon and sulfur, iron, phosphorus and chromium. So, stainless steel is an alloy of Fe, Ni and Cr. Iron, chromium and nickel will going to make the stainless steel. So, you can say that option number A is correct in this case. Clear? Now, let's move forward to the question number 26th. Metalloid among the following is. Now, what is metalloid? This is the very first part of our chapter, that is metalloid. Metalloids are those elements that sometimes is going to behave like a metal and sometimes they are going to behave like a non-metal. It means they are going to possess the property of both metals and non-metals. So, if they are behaving as a metal and non-metal both, they are said to be the metalloid. So, lithium is not a metalloid. Sulfur is a non-metal. Sodium is a metal. Sodium is only a metal. So, silicon is a metalloid. So, it is going to behave like a metal and non-metal both. So, boron, silicon, germanium, polonium, these are some of the category of the metalloids we have discussed. So, our option number D is correct in this case and the metalloid is silicon here. Option number D. Clear? Now, let's move forward to the last question of this sequence, that is question number 27. This is a logic based question you have to answer here. The element X reacting with chlorine to form a water soluble compound having a very high melting point. So, firstly I am considering the option number A. So, element X, that is Mg, when react with chlorine, it is forming the compound MgCl2. So, this is a compound X and this is reacting with chlorine, and what it is forming the compound which is water soluble. It is water soluble. So, we know that whenever magnesium is going to react with chlorine, it is forming magnesium chloride and it is water soluble, and in fact it is having a very high melting point. So, we can guess here that the option number is correct, option number A is correct, but you cannot left the rest of the options, we have to check the other options too. If I am comparing argon and neon are inert gases, they are not going to react with chlorine here. So, these two options can be eliminated from here. Now, carbon when react with chlorine, it is going to form the compound that is carbon tetrachloride and it is not a water soluble compound in this case. So you can see that the first option is correct here and the element here will be magnesium only. So which option is correct here? Option number A is correct in this case. So these are few of the NTSE questions we have discussed in today's lecture. These questions in fact has been asked from the previous year papers, you can see. And what the major thing you have seen here? The major thing is this all question majorly cover the two topics here. First one is alloys and their composition. Second thing they are going to cover is about the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. And the last thing is all about the reactivity series, which is very, very important. Majorly the question is going to be asked from the topic that is reactivity series. So majorly these topics you have to study in detail for solving such type of the question. So from this chapter, these topics are very important from competitive point as well as. Clear? So go through the video lectures of these three topics very clearly, because if you learn the previous part, you can only answer such type of the question. Clear? So this lecture is all over for today and we will deal with the next chapter in our next lecture. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.